Have you ever wondered what it takes to build an empire from scratch? To go from a regular guy with a seemingly crazy idea to one of the richest people in the world? Today, we're diving deep into the incredible story of Jeff Bezos, the man who transformed a small online bookstore into the global behemoth we know as Amazon. This isn't just a story about money. It's a story about vision, relentless determination, and betting big on the future. Let's rewind to the very beginning. Jeffrey Preston Jorgensen was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico, in 1964. His parents divorced when he was just a toddler. His mother, Jacqueline, later married Miguel Bezos, a Cuban immigrant who adopted Jeff, and from then on, he was known as Jeff Bezos. From a young age, Jeff showed an extraordinary curiosity and a knack for tinkering. His garage was his laboratory, filled with all sorts of gadgets and contraptions he built himself, like an electric alarm to keep his younger siblings out of his room. This early passion for science and engineering was a sign of things to come. He was a star student, graduating as valedictorian from his high school. His valedictorian speech even hinted at his future ambitions, talking about a vision for humanity to colonize space, a dream he's now pursuing with Blue Origin. He went on to Princeton University, where he majored in electrical engineering and computer science, graduating with top honors. His brilliance was obvious, and upon graduation he had job offers from major tech companies like Intel and Bell Labs, but Bezos chose a different path. He headed to Wall Street, where he quickly climbed the ranks at a quantitative hedge fund called D.E. Shaw & Co. He became the company's youngest ever senior vice president. He was on the fast track to a very comfortable, very successful career in finance. He had it all: a prestigious job, a great salary, a bright future. But then something happened that would change the course of his life and, in many ways, the world. In 1994, while browsing the still infant internet, Bezos came across a staggering statistic. Internet usage was growing at 2,300% per year. This number lit a fire in his mind. He saw an unprecedented opportunity. He started brainstorming what he could sell online. He made a list of 20 possible products, from software to CDs. But one item stood out: books. Why books? Because there are millions of titles in print, far more than any physical bookstore could ever hope to stock. An online store, however, had virtually unlimited shelf space. This was his light bulb moment. But it came with a massive risk. He had to leave his high-paying, secure job on Wall Street. He had to convince his wife, Mackenzie, to uproot their lives and move across the country. He presented the idea to his boss at D.E. Shaw, who told him it was a good idea. But it was an even better idea for someone who didn't already have a good job. This is what Bezos calls the regret minimization framework. He imagined himself at 80 years old, looking back on his life. Would he regret leaving Wall Street? Maybe, but would he regret not trying to be a part of this internet revolution? Absolutely. He knew he had to take the leap. So he quit his job, packed up his car, and drove from New York to Seattle, drafting the business plan for his new company along the way. He founded Amazon in his garage in Bellevue, Washington. The name Amazon was chosen because it started with the letter A and evoked the scale of the world's largest river, a perfect metaphor for his ambition to build the world's largest store. The initial setup was incredibly humble. The servers they used required so much power that he and his few employees could not run a vacuum cleaner or a hairdryer in the house without blowing a fuse. In July 1995, Amazon.com went live as an online bookstore. In its first 30 days, with no press promotion, Amazon sold books in all 50 states and 45 different countries. Bezos and his small team would pack the books on the floor of their garage and drive them to the post office themselves. They even installed a bell in the office that would ring every time an order came in. Within a few weeks, the bell was ringing so often they had to turn it off. The growth was explosive. But Bezos' vision was always much bigger than just books. His mantra from day one was "get big fast." He knew that in the world of e-commerce, scale was everything. He reinvested every penny back into the company, focusing on growth over short-term profits. This was a radical idea at the time. Wall Street analysts were skeptical. They couldn't understand why a company that was growing so fast wasn't making any money. For years, Amazon posted losses, but Bezos stuck to his long-term vision, constantly telling investors to be patient. He famously said, "We are willing to be misunderstood for long periods of time." And they were. He was laser-focused on one thing above all else: customer obsession. He wanted Amazon to be the most customer-centric company on earth. This meant offering a massive selection, low prices, and a convenient, reliable shopping experience. This obsession led to innovations like customer reviews, one-click ordering, and personalized recommendations features we now take for granted but were revolutionary at the time. Then came the dot-com bust of the early 2000s. Hundreds of internet companies went bankrupt. Amazon's stock price plummeted. Critics declared that Amazon was doomed. But while others failed, Amazon survived. Why? Because it had built a real business with real customers and a solid, long-term strategy. The crisis forced them to become more efficient and disciplined, ultimately making the company stronger. After surviving the crash, Amazon began its relentless expansion beyond books. It started selling music, DVDs, electronics, and toys. Then came Amazon Web Services, or AI, in 2006. This was a game changer. Amazon had built a massive world-class computing infrastructure to run its own retail site. They realized they could rent out that capacity to other companies. Abadio started as a side project, but it has since grown into the world's leading cloud computing platform, and it's now Amazon's most profitable division. It was a brilliant move that showed Bezos' ability to see new opportunities where others didn't. The innovations kept coming. In 2007, Amazon launched the Kindle, an e-reader that revolutionized the publishing industry and how we read books. Then came Amazon Prime, a subscription service offering free 2-day shipping. At first, people thought it was a crazy gamble that would bankrupt the company. Today, it has over 200 million members worldwide and is a cornerstone of Amazon's ecosystem, locking in customer loyalty. From Echo smart speakers powered by Alexa to acquiring Whole Foods to venturing into video streaming with Prime Video, Amazon has relentlessly pushed into new territories. Of course, the journey hasn't been without controversy. Amazon has faced criticism over its treatment of warehouse workers, its impact on small businesses, and its immense market power. But looking back at Jeff Bezos' journey from a garage in Seattle to the helm of a multi-trillion-dollar empire, the lessons are clear. It's about having a long-term vision and sticking to it, even when everyone else thinks you're crazy. It's about being obsessed with your customer and constantly innovating on their behalf. And it's about being willing to fail, learn, and try again. As Bezos himself says, if you're not failing, you're not innovating enough. It shows that with enough grit, vision, and a little bit of garage-style ingenuity, it's possible to change the world.